and welcome to a new Imagination Inspiration. This is a series of articles I've been doing for teachers, parents, homeschool, to help give kids inspiration and ideas for writing stories. Check out the list of them. I'll have links here in the show notes for this. But they are essentially little activities that is a picture or an environment or an idea, kind of like a writing prompt that kids can then use to write a story and some story ideas. So this one's a little different. I was looking at this. So you may know this book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, C.S. Lewis. I remember reading it when I was a kid. It's a fun book. He was a contemporary of Tolkien. They both wrote fantasy, though C.S. Lewis is fantasy is more towards younger kids. One of the things that struck me with the book when I reread it to my kids was that the big battle at the end was extremely short. Like I'm talking a sentence, a paragraph, and that was the whole battle. So we've got where Aslan and the group leave the castle and he starts fighting the witch and Peter's army is there, but there's not too many of them. And then it says, the then lion and witch had rolled over together, but with the witch underneath, and at the same moment, all warlike creatures whom Aslan had led from the witch's house rushed madly on the enemy lines, dwarfs with their battle axes, dogs with teeth, the giant with the club, and his feet also crushed dozens of his foe. Unicorns with their horns, centaurs with swords and hooves. And Peter's tired army cheered, and the newcomers roared, and the enemy squealed and gibbered till the wood re-echoed with the din of that onset. Then you turn the page, it goes to the next chapter. The battle was all over. That's it. That's the whole big battle. That there's going to be so much more there. Now, a lot of fairy tales, a lot of fables, a lot of stories are told like that. Think about it, and then they fought and the hero won. That's the story. But it's not the novel. It's not the lengthy story. It's not the fun, exciting part. It just saying, and then they fought and the hero won kind of leaves people like, oh, okay, great. Well, now I know, but it doesn't get them excited. They're not like, man, I got to read that again. So this is the activity. What happened in that battle? What could kids write about? What exactly were the dwarves doing or the centaurs? And what about the witches' army? What did they do? Now I know this one's a little more violent than some of the others. It's kind of encouraging the kids to write a battle scene. So I understand if parents, teachers, if you're like, no, I don't know if we want to do that. But if it's something that you're okay with, it could be a fun activity, something that could get them thinking, well, how could I describe it so that it is interesting to read? Because what a lot of kids would probably do is something along the lines of, and the giant raised his club and then he swung down and he hit, and you do that. And then he brought his club up and he hit him again and he pulled it to the side. That's very minute description, but that's not what makes it interesting. Writing a action battle scene is much more difficult than that. And any kid that does this, don't discourage them. Don't say, oh, well, that's boring and that's too on the nose and we need to make it more interesting. Let them write to their age, to their skill level, but also maybe show them some other scenes like something from Tolkien. And maybe I'll follow up with a battle scene from Tolkien and how he describes it and how you can do the action, but make it interesting, not just this action, then this action, then this action, how to incorporate a way to describe what's going on without making it just as boring as saying the hero won. It's a difficult type of assignment. I will follow this up with another video from Tolkien and examples of that. But also as a side bonus, if you get the movie, The Lion, the Witch, and the World. Now, there have been several adaptations. There was a cartoon one when I was a kid that I loved. But the movie from 2010-ish, if you get that movie and watch at the end, that battle scene is quite long. Now, I wouldn't encourage you to watch it before you have the kids write because you want them to use their imaginations and write. But once they've done that, you can read this passage and then watch that scene at the end of the movie and say, see how long this is, see how much it goes on. That's what we want to be able to describe. So as a bonus, then have them watch the movie It may take some playing and pause and playing and pause and write out what the action is, what's happening on screen. That gives a little bit of practice, possibly for future script writing for movies. It could also be very good for novelizing the action. There aren't a lot of movies or shows that get novelized anymore, not like it used to be, but there are some, mostly the superheroes, and there are junior novels, versions of movies. So, but this is a good way for them to write out the action they're seeing and be able to describe it and make it interesting to read. So there's kind of a double activity there. And I will follow this up with another video soon with some examples from Tolkien. Thank you.